Today is Tuesday, March 22nd. We'll tell you about one of the most powerful explosions to hit Ukraine's capital since the Russian invasion began, and what we know so far about a Boeing passenger jet that went down in China. Also, how severe weather ripped through a couple southern states in the U.S. and where it's headed next. Plus, how two states are trying to ease the pain at the pump, which countries ranked happiest in the world, and which game show is celebrating 50 years by coming to a city near you. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Much of the southeastern U.S. is bracing for more severe weather today. They're facing the same system that caused dangerous storms in Texas and Oklahoma yesterday. Tornadoes and heavy winds damaged homes, downed trees, sent cars flying, and ripped the roof off a high school. At least 5 people were hurt in the Austin, Texas area. But so far, no one has been reported killed. Today, the storms are drifting into Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as well as Jackson, Mississippi, are all in the greatest risk zone. More than 4 million people could get damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes. Tomorrow looks to be the last day of the severe weather outbreak. That's when the Carolinas, Georgia, and parts of Florida are in its path. To be continued. One top NATO official says the war in Ukraine is now entering a stalemate. The official explained that Ukrainian forces are keeping Russia from making progress, while Russia's President Putin is still showing no signs of backing down. Just yesterday, Russian forces pounded Ukraine with more bullets, rockets, and bombs. One of them struck a once busy shopping mall in the capital of Kyiv. The New York Times calls it one of the most powerful explosions to hit the city since the Russian invasion began. Now the Ukrainian government also accuses Russia of hijacking an aid convoy near the northeastern city of Kharkiv. And it says Russian troops took thousands of children from their parents and forced them into Russia. So far, the U.S. has not been able to confirm that part. And Russia still says it's not targeting civilians in any way, even though there is clear evidence of homes, offices, schools, hospitals, and entertainment venues being destroyed. President Biden spoke about his concerns with Russia's tactics on a phone call with top European officials yesterday. The officials also discussed giving Ukrainian refugees more help. Tomorrow, Biden is traveling to Brussels to meet with NATO leaders in person. Well, it was China's worst air disaster in a decade. An American-designed jet crashed in southern China during what should have been a short domestic flight. 123 Chinese passengers and 9 crew members were on board. And so far, rescue crews have not been able to find any survivors. The plane was a Boeing 737-800. That's the earlier model of the 737 MAX that had problems about 3 years ago. This one actually has a strong safety record, though. More than 5,000 of them have been sold worldwide, including hundreds in the U.S. And the exact jet involved in the China crash was only 6 years old. Apparently, everything was going fine until the time when it should have started to gradually come down before landing. But it was not a slow descent like usual. It's still not clear what exactly caused the crash. Boeing and the FAA will be helping China's investigators try to figure out what happened. They'll be scouring the wreckage and flight recorders for any kind of clues. Stay tuned. For the first time, American companies may have to report how their work is affecting the climate. The SEC, which is the top financial regulator in the U.S., unveiled the proposal yesterday. It basically gives public companies 60 days notice, and people have a chance to weigh in. But after that, the rules are expected to be made official. Then companies will have to hand over climate-related information when they first register with the SEC and once a year from then on. That information will include things like how much greenhouse gas they release into the atmosphere and how much energy they consume. They'll also have to let investors know if their business faces any climate-related risks, like if they work in an area where rising sea levels could impact them. The Treasury Secretary says these rules will protect investors and make the financial system more resilient. But prominent Republicans disagree, and they say this action is outside the regulator's area of expertise and authority. With gas prices at all-time highs right now, some lawmakers around the U.S. are pushing to give drivers a break from paying taxes on gas. And 2 states have already done it, Maryland and Georgia. In Maryland, the move means a pause on the state's 36-cent per gallon tax on gas for at least the next month. And in Georgia, the 29-cent per gallon tax will be put on hold through the end of May. Both state governors say it'll help provide some relief from the pain at the pump right now. While critics say it won't make that much of a difference and will leave local officials with less money to reinvest. Some are also calling for a pause on the federal gas tax. Either way, it's not just pausing the taxes that state leaders across the country might consider. Lawmakers in California, for example, proposed a $400 gas rebate to help out drivers. We'll see what states, if any, are next to take action. All right, we have much more news coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. Okay, parents, if you have an active baby or toddler like I do, then you know that means they're not just active at playtime, they're also active on the changing table, which is not so fun for us parents. That's just one of the reasons I am loving Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit diapers. Cruisers 360 Fit allows me to avoid trying to secure the diaper tape between kicks, and instead it's quick and easy to just pull them on my little wiggly one. Then it's super easy to remove them in seconds with easy tear sides. And the 360 gap-free fit is great for playtime as well. I love that it stretches around my baby's waist so there's no gapping, leaking, or falling off. Instead, my baby is free to play, feeling comfortable and dry. In fact, to keep baby skin healthy, Cruisers 360 Fit locks wetness away from skin for up to 12 hours. It lets us all sleep through the night, and little rashes here and there that we used to notice are not happening anymore. So buy in-store, look for the Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit, and download the Pampers Club app today to start earning rewards with every diapers and wipes purchase. Europe is dominating the happiest countries in the world list. For the 5th year running, Finland was picked as the happiest place in the world by the United Nations. The UN puts out its World Happiness Report every year, where it ranks 146 countries on their overall happiness. Northern Europe looks to be one of the happiest regions in the world, with all 5 Nordic countries, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and Norway, ranking in the top 8. But what about the United States? Well, it didn't even crack the top 10. The U.S. ranked 16th this year, up from 19th last year. The report factors in things like life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, trust in government, social support, and more. There's a new warning from the White House, and it's the most urgent alert yet, warning companies to lock their digital doors to avoid potential Russian cyber attacks. Even though the White House has been warning about Russian cyber attacks for weeks now, the president said this time there's new evolving intelligence that shows Russia might be getting ready to attack. Exact details are not clear, but a U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor said Russia could already be doing things like scanning websites and hunting for vulnerabilities. Because of that, President Biden wants American companies to beef up their cyber defenses immediately. The administration offered up some tips like using multi-factor authentication, backing up and encrypting data, changing passwords, and making sure systems are up to date with the latest security. Apple services are back up and running now, but a widespread outage took out several of its services for a good chunk of the afternoon yesterday. We're talking Apple Music, Podcasts, iMessage, Maps, iCloud Mail, Keychain, the App Store, and Apple TV+. As Bloomberg reported, even Apple's corporate and retail systems went down yesterday. Apple confirmed the outage on its support system page, but never said what caused it. Thankfully, services went back to normal around 4 p.m. Eastern. Well, Disney is bracing for some employee walkouts today. Some Disney employees started staging short 15-minute walkouts last week ahead of a planned full-day walkout today. It's meant to show they think Disney should have taken a stronger stance against Florida's new law that critics have dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill. Remember, this bill doesn't actually ban the word gay, but it does stop teachers in Florida from talking about sexual orientation or gender identity before 4th grade. And it only allows what it calls age-appropriate conversations after that. Supporters say it's about giving parents the responsibility to have these conversations with their children, while critics say it's an attack on the LGBTQ community. And Disney has a lot of influence as the largest private sector employer in the state. The Wall Street Journal reports Disney CEO held a last-minute company-wide meeting yesterday. He apparently told employees he understands the pain caused by his initial silence on this bill. Reports say the company is also trying to ease tensions with a new company-wide task force meant to work on being a more positive force in the LGBT community. Still, many employees say they do plan to walk off the job in protest today, but it's not clear exactly how many workers will take part. TV's longest-running game show is hitting the road and going on a coast-to-coast tour in honor of its 50th anniversary. Yes, The Price is Right is letting Americans come on down in their own cities, not just in Hollywood. The free tour kicks off this Friday in the LA area at the Santa Monica Pier and will make stops in 49 other cities like Denver, Dallas, New York, and New Orleans. Fans will be able to win prizes by playing games like Plinko, Spin the Wheel, and Showcase Showdown. The president of CBS says it's a way to bring the fans closer to the show while supporting local businesses in cities across the country. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, this podcast is sponsored by Tommy John. If you're in need of loungewear that looks and feels good, and let's be honest, who isn't these days, then you're going to love Tommy John. You can feel cozy, but not lazy, in new elevated women's and men's loungewear from Tommy John. I'm talking about high-quality, breathable, super soft and comfortable fabric that hangs just right. In fact, you know that feeling when your favorite loungewear is in the dirty laundry and nothing else is really what you want to wear? Well, that's how I feel about my Tommy John lounge joggers. So now I have 2 pairs. And in addition to the joggers, they also have cozy and stylish bralettes, leggings, and pajama pants. I really like the women's lounge Henley. It's a great go-to shirt that I can wear whether I'm on a Zoom call or on the couch watching Netflix. And returns and exchanges are free with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or it's free guarantee. So see for yourself and get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/newsworthy. Shop TommyJohn.com/newsworthy for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/newsworthy. See site for details. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, which teenage girl helped drive the English from French soil in the 15th century? You can answer the question and play along on Instagram. Find and follow us at NewsworthyPod. Just look for the trivia quiz in our Instagram stories today. As for last week's trivia question, which U.S. state has the longest cave system in the world? The answer is Kentucky. Sitting below the hills of south-central Kentucky is the extensive Mammoth Cave system, and more than 400 miles of it have been explored. And the national park that houses the Mammoth Cave says it has potential for another 600 miles in its system. If that wasn't enough, more than 200 other caves in the Mammoth Cave National Park actually stem from the larger Mammoth Cave system. And with 2 million people visiting the park every year, more than 500,000 of them take a cave tour, making it the park's top attraction. Anthropologists think Native Americans first discovered this huge cave about 5,000 years ago, and the history goes even farther back. The UN says Mammoth Cave showcases 100 million years of cave forming and has nearly every single type of known cave formation. It's also home to a pretty diverse plant and animal life, including endangered species. All right, thank you so much for listening today and every day. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that follow or subscribe button on your podcast app to help you never miss an episode. And thanks to our Newsworthy Insiders for all your extra support. We'll be back with another news roundup tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.